Hey there. This is this post-editing Grim here. Remember the last episode and part episode 4, Bat's Way to Halloween? I mentioned that we would be getting a special guest.
Yes.
I lied.
Okay, lie is a big word. I didn't lie. We tried our best, but we didn't get a whole lot of people. The people who did say yes, we didn't hear back. So it was like, we'll get people on here eventually. It'll take some time. But I think what we'll do is that we'll announce it, or I'll announce it in the community tabs rather than just announce it in these podcasts. So if it's going to happen, it's going to happen. All right. With that in mind, just enjoyed the podcast as is. The following podcast episode might contain coarse language and subjects not suitable for younger audiences. Viewer discretion is advised.
Live from a not-so-sleepy little town comes a podcast for a mobile game. Really? Anyhow, your hosts, a content creator and an artist trying to come up with wild ideas while also talking about whatever. It's the Goosebumps HorrorTown TerrorVision podcast!
Hi, everybody! Welcome to a very special episode of the Goosebumps HorrorTown TerrorVision podcast.
Hey there, guy.
Normally we like to joke about something like we did not to give out what's going on with the episode. You already seen the title, you already seen the thumbnail, you know what we're talking about, but we'll get to that in a moment. We have a bit of a thing to do first, but first, hi, I'm Grim as usual, and this is my co-host Vampire.
I'm your camp buddy. How's it going, campus?
Okay, we'll get to that in a moment. We'll get to that in a moment. We'll pretend as if that's not the case. So, anyways, we're going to try to make this as quick as possible because Vampire has stuff to do, and I have things to do. So, like, we like to talk to each other all the time, but...
Yeah. I only have, roughly about maybe 2 hours, so...
Yeah, we're going to try to see if we can run this as quick as possible. So, hopefully we can get this going. So...
This is HGTV Speedrun Edition.
Yeah, let's go ahead. Click on the timer. Let's go. Speedrun time.
Let's go, boy. Let's go. Gotta go fast.
Gotta go fast!
Anyways, with that in mind, let's go ahead and talk about some news with the game. Now, last we talked, we were discussing on what would be the next theme was going to be. We've learned a little bit.
I theorized that it was Dr. Maniac.
I'm getting to that. That was what you suggested. Now, with that in mind, we were getting some more information regarding what was going to happen. We thought it was going to be sometime around May. It's already the 25th of May, by the way. By the time this comes out, we'll probably be somewhere around June. Let's see this map here. June 4th, either 14th or 21st. I think 14th. I don't know. I'll try my best to see when we can get this done. But anyways, regardless of that, when we were talking to the guy, the director, he basically he told everybody, and I think this was because somebody was just like, "Oh, is the game dead?" So he's just like, "All right, let me tell you." So their plan is that they want to get this game out, this update, no later than July, while the second one's going to be in August. So the summer is going to be basically part 1 and part 2. So it's going to be back-to-back action. So all you kids who are going out of school, you got some cool summer updates coming to your way. And then, of course...
shit.
Yeah, and while that also, he confirmed, he's like, yes, after that, there was going to be a Halloween update, so don't worry, we're not done. So we have Event 31, 2, and 3 confirmed. So
I do need to confirm something.
Yeah.
So, technically, you are now speaking to the director of the game now, right?
The lead director for the company, yes. There is no real content director as of now. I think they might be popping in near October, like what happened last time, because they're trying to look for somebody because the other guy left. So, as far as I know, yes, this guy is in charge of the game until a new CD comes in.
Okay.
And he's also in charge of putting new updates and stuff into the game. So it sounds like they want to do more stuff to the game. And I talked to him with the other games, and it sounds like he wants to add more features. So there's chances are there's going to be more features with this game.
Right.
Sounds like it, but I don't know what exactly. It could just be the updates, but it's taking a little while. So obviously they're adding something else alongside this. So they're trying to take some extra time with it. No later than the end of June, early July, I would assume is when we're supposed to expect this update. So we'll see what ends up happening there. But whenever we do get it, it's like the first episode when it's done, second episode will hit right after. So at least it'll be more convenient that way. But yeah, so let's go talk about that. Our last episode we were discussing on what we think was going to happen, and I did suggest some some suggestions of what could be, and you suggested that it could be comic book related, right? Because there's a lot more comic book themes of that. And looking at it, I was kind of thinking maybe that could be the case. But when I was talking to him, thinking like, "Well, I'm curious of what you're expecting or like what you're planning," he basically went ahead and said that his whole thing for these two parts is that it's going to be looking at the two characters getting introduced to this game in detail. So basically, it has to be characters that are somewhat well known in the sense that they would have a justification of why you want to learn more about them or have them have dialogue a lot. And there's only one character that has two books technically that is also somewhat well known in the Goosebumps lore, and that is, as you said, Dr. Maniac. So there's a very high probability, like a 90%, most likely this is the update coming out, but there's still that 10% fault that it could be anything at this point. But by the sounds of things and the way it's part one, part two, chances are this is what they're going to go with. So it might be we're getting the Maniac as well as his creator, Ricky. No, Ricky. Is it Ricky or is it
Robbie Schwartz?
Robbie. That's it. Robbie, my boy. My boy Rob.
My boy Rob's. Rob Gavigan. Love that dude.
Anyways, yeah. So Robbie, and Maniac might be the characters getting introduced in this update. And
now,
I don't know who will go first, though.
It could be Robbie Schwartz, or it could also be the Night Howler.
I don't know if it could be the Night Howler, just because the Night Howler falls under the I know he does. Stuff? Yeah, because he falls Slappy World, and I don't know if they still allowed that. I know the book's technically gone. We won't know if it is the Night Howler, though. Then we might be able to see something along the lines of like, unless of course they have Robbie become the Night Howler, like have that be a thing. If that's the case, then that will show us to say, oh, they can also have the Slappy World books available. But unless worst comes to worst, they could just say, oh, this is kind of Night Howler without saying it's Night Howler, kind of like what they got away with the horror anniversary, being like, oh yeah, it's Slappy birthday to you, but we are not saying it's Slappy birthday to you, although the prize is literally the cover art to the thing. So
yeah, pretty much.
So I think that's what they might be doing, but again, we won't know.
There was that one action that Curly has called Read a Slappy World book.
Yeah, so obviously it's still there. So hopefully they're allowed to use it now, because the new books is the House of Shivers, and we're not touching that book at all. I mean, it's sad because it's like every two. It's like you get one every half a year. It kind of sucks, but I think recently they just announced their next book cover name is called Say My Name, Say My Name, which
oh, that sounds interesting.
Yeah, it sounds interesting. The premise, like the premise is out, but it's not confirmed, because usually like Stein would like throw an out premise out there, and then it might change near the book of the completion. Like the fifth grade zombie, no, the zombie one from Slappy World. I'm not sure what that's called, but there was a premise that was. Zombies. Is that what it is?
Yeah, fifth grade zombies.
Okay, so I was right. So with that,
that's the only zombie-related thing in the Slappy World series.
Yeah, so that one, so that one, there was originally a plot about it being different, and then near the tail end, when it was about to be released, the description changed. So halfway through the book, when he was writing it, he must have thought, "Oh, I have a better idea," and he decided to change it midway through. So it's possible that could be the same case here, but no cover art anyways as of yet by Rob Ball. Or Robert Ball, I think his name is, the new artist that's doing the Slappy World covers. So, yeah. Anyways, regardless of that, that's really.
Wait, don't you mean House of Shivers?
Yeah, the House of Shivers. Sorry.
Yeah, you said Slappy World.
Yeah, no, that's Brandon. Brandon's now gone. Anyways, with that in mind, we will be talking more about this as soon as we get more information. Hopefully, by the time we get to the next podcast episode 6, we should hopefully know more about it. Maybe they might give teasers or whatnot, but I don't know. You'll see videos regardless. Anyways, with that in mind, we should probably talk about our main topic before we talk about my story that we kind of hinted at. We should talk about our topic of discussion, this time being that of, and this was something you brought up originally, but we decided to go with something Easter related, so we might as well talk about this now. The body squeezers, or the invasion of the body squeezers. So
yes, I did bring this up because, like Bad Hair Day, this was a two-parter thing, kind of.
Yeah, the book it was based off of was indeed a two-parter, but they actually made it into like just one part. I mean, well,
but I mainly picked Bad Hair Day mostly because of timing. Because we were recording the Bad Hair Day around like April, so I figured that it would be a good time to bring up Bad Hair Day because it was a two-parter thing. That was,
despite it
the
being,
fucking yeah.
You go.
Okay, so like I said, I brought up Bad Hair Day mostly because of theming, because we were recording it on April, and it was a more appropriate two-parter story to talk about when we were talking about the last two-parter story that when the whole two-parter event thing came out. It was kind of like a coincidental segue from that topic to Bad Hair Day, especially when it came to April, because I mostly picked it, but mainly out of theming.
Yeah, despite the fact that by the time this was premiered, it was in May. So I know we're
I
delayed.
mean,
Who cares?
we had
I already
Egg
told you when
Monsters
we're
from Mars
delaying
on
it.
May,
Yeah,
so
we already told you when this was coming out. So you know, happy delayed day. Anyways, I mean, we did a
happy
Halloween
delay day.
special early. We did one Halloween special early. So there you go. Batway through
So
Halloween. I love it.
yeah,
I love the naming title. Yeah.
Invasion of the Body Squeezers was another idea that I wanted to talk about because that's also a two-parter since we're still on the whole, two-parter announcement thing.
Yeah, and the other thing too about that one in particular that was interesting is I was so like that was my first video I came onto the scene with, and it was the most disappointing out of all of it. I didn't finish everything about that, but I did finish the main story,
Yeah,
but I did not finish the side quest or anything like that.
yeah, I didn't really finish it either, honestly. It's not that it was bad or anything. It was just I was
Disappointing.
still confused. I was still new to it, and I was confused at what I was doing.
That was the biggest
Well,
issue with that update was it was too confusing for its own good. There was so many crafting items all over the place that it was just a mess. But I get what they were trying to do, but at that point they were like, you know what, maybe we should not do this anymore. By the time Christmas came around, like they kind of slowly started to get rid of it on Halloween, but at the end they were like, yeah, you know what, nah, let's not do this anymore. I mean, they kind of did somewhat like in 2020, but they haven't done it since. But regardless of that, one of the interesting things about it too was I was so bummed because you got this cool artwork with Mr. Mortman with Blob in his ear, and the whole Slappy being like a damsel holding by the crab creature, right, and all that stuff, and it's like this cool invasion thing, and it
body
kind of
squeezer, quote unquote.
the body square, and I love the when I came into like you could probably see this in my 2021 look back when it came to the 3 that got released the with Grandma and Ellie and uh, Zeke when they did their storylines. I highlighted some things about what I found in the past from other people. So, for example, originally when they were making the game, when they were making the body squeezers, they actually had them designed exactly like the Jim DeCopa's artwork that is on the cover. So the green looking alien thing that you'd see. So I thought that was interesting. But they instead decided to go with a different route where they're like, well, why don't we do crustaceans instead? Because the crustaceans can squeeze things, right? Like octopuses can squeeze, and uh, crabs and lobsters and things like that. They got little pinchers. They can squeeze things. So it's like, yeah, there you go. And they could tie into the whole Eldritch horror type thing, like with the logos and everything like that. And especially it's interesting that they're especially if you look at the statue that you can win in the toy terror batteries included. The logo that's on the I don't know what the hell you call that figure, the statue, but on
The
it,
amalgamation.
the amalgamation, is that what it's called?
I
Yeah,
know I know it had amalgamation in its name,
yeah,
but
okay, so that thing. In the logo, I pointed it out that there was the same symbol that you could see within the Body Squeezer update, which makes me think, were they connected in some way? Or this is a little weird Easter egg nod, because I thought that was interesting that you got to see the same symbol on this thing than you
I
did with the
kind of
other.
feel like I had the same like thought pattern when I first saw it. I'm like, hey, wait a minute, I've seen
It's
that before.
especially since they mentioned the whole Agent X thing, and it's just like maybe there was a tie to Agent Grandma, but that might have fell through because of different people coming in and doing different things. So that's a change of pace. Because I know Agent Grandma originally they were the Ellie's, oh no, Emily's, is that her name? Emily's grandma. The
Emily?
Yeah, Emily, the farm girl type character.
Oh no, she was. If you're talking about the alien grandma, I think she was trying to be Dustin's.
No, I mean originally the artwork design for Grandma. I actually came
Oh
across like Grandma looking exactly like she did with her cover art that I think Mark did. I think that's his name. The one who did the Give Yourself Goosebumps books
yeah,
before the other
right.
guy that came along. He ended up designing the alien looking weird, and you can actually see a picture of Beta Grandma in there, and it turned out to be Emily's grandma in
Uh,
disguise. So it's like, oh, that's interesting. If Emily's actually secretly an alien too, because oh, now they can date with Jack. But I don't know.
yeah, it
They
would make
decided
more
to
sense
scrap that idea.
why
Yeah,
she would like Jack a lot more.
yeah. So they ended up scrapping that idea, unfortunately. So no
Oh,
grandma
that would have
there.
been
Instead,
that's like a missed opportunity.
yeah, I know. I mean, grandma we got. She was still looking exactly like she did with the cover art in a sense. There's a lot more cleaner looking, I think. And yeah, this time they went with more of the USSR revolution, Russian type of propaganda look. There's a style of it. I wouldn't say communism, but there's an art style that's a revolutionary, I would say, maybe. But yeah, no, it was definitely inspired by Russian, especially when she dressed herself up like a babushka, is like the proper
Right.
term for a Russian grandma. But a Russian little old lady or whatever you call it. But anyways, that grandma's a whole different story. We'll talk about her later. But this is now the main focus, the body squeeze, as it were. It was so disappointing because they had those weird. They even talked about it in the description too, because they had these weird the shrimp creatures, right? That are supposed to be
Yeah.
spawnlings, but we never got them. And I'm like, what the hell? You advertised them, but they're not in the game. Turns out they did design them, but they never
Yeah.
used them. like like
Yeah.
you got them right here. They obviously looked like they were supposed to be the spawn characters, and the crab monsters were supposed to be the boss character that they would pay for money. But they decided to go, no, boss, the crab monsters, sure, they're more threatening.
You know what? You know what's another missed opportunity?
Mm.
Lobsters.
Yeah, I mean, I can totally see that. I mean, they kind of did the lobsters with the robots. They kind of added in there, like the props and everything like that. I did like
While
how they did.
true, it would have been really cool to see like something similar to the crab
Yeah,
mixed
you
with the
got
shrimp, but have
not,
like these massive fucking claws.
not only that, but the craftings. You had the octopus, the crab, and the lobster, and then you combine them together to make the Cthulhu monster, the baby
Combine them
Cthulhu monster.
together.
Yeah. And then you can cook them and just I love this side story with like satyrs. It's like, hey, let's make these like what's better, human food or alien food? Let's combine these two together. Let's just see what we can make. It's like, yeah, sure. This totally sounds like a guy would do that stuff. But yeah, it's your typical invasion story. It kind of started off slow because there was like split off into three parts. And
Yeah.
it was interesting, I guess, what they were trying to go for, but it wasn't really much. I did like how Fleshman's character, when you got him, he was basically talking about like kind of like what he was doing was observing the whole thing, and it was just kind of like
Observing the humans.
Are they deserving of whatever? And they're like, nah, And then I was even looking at the whole Squeezers idea, and they're like, originally in the story, it's like the Squeezers didn't like what they look like, and they liked humans, so they thought, let's squeeze their bodies out like if you ever imagine toothpaste when you're squeezing the contents out, imagine doing that to a human, and then be like, oh, we'll just wear their skin. Kind of like what I guess Fleshman did. So then it's like a joke with like Fleshman. It's like, is he wearing a costume like Roger Rabbit style, or did he actually kill some guy and he decided to wear him like a meat suit?
I mean, it would make more sense if it was the latter.
It would be more darker.
Oh yeah, I mean,
I
they
would
just
love
showed a
that
dead
too.
kid in the fucking freezer
It would
for
also
egg
make
monsters.
sense to the biggest laziness I've ever seen with his house, because it's the same generic house as everyone else. I get the idea they were going with. It's like, well, he's trying to blend in, so why would he
Yeah,
want to stand out? But the problem is,
that's
now
why.
I don't know where his house is. And it's like you couldn't make it slightly different, like maybe a little bit different, like a little bit off, like maybe he had a little telescope there, or
That's why.
maybe a little
Well,
asteroid hit on the rock or something like that. No, okay, fine. Lazy.
well, when I decorated Fleshman's house in my game, I put like a whole bunch of like satellites and robot security systems
Oh,
and even the little fucking alien farms and shit.
Oh, definitely. I did the same thing too. But that doesn't mean that, when you look at his house compared to everyone else's house, it's just like they just copy and paste. They didn't even do anything. I'll give Grandma credit. They did the same thing with Grandma, but the difference with her is at least they colored hers red, right? The other bus stops are blue, but hers, she has a red one. It's like you couldn't do the
Yeah,
same
but
thing for
that's
his
still
house.
kind of that's still kind of lazy though.
I mean, it's better than just copy and paste and it's the same fucking house.
Well, this is a little different. This is a copy paste recolor. This is
It's
like
not even a
Sonichu.
recolor. It's not
This
even
is the
a recolor.
Sonichu
It's
of
the same.
building.
You could take a small residence house with Fleshman's house and be like, "What is the difference?" And it's the same picture. uh, but yeah, no, that was one of the most disappointing things with him. I just hated his house. I hated how uncreative it was. But yeah, the biggest problem with the Squeezers was this was the second event we had in this game. And by then, it was
Yeah.
kind of confusing with trying to get everything. And they were trying to find their footing with this. I think they were trying to think what would be the best course of actions. And I think at that point, they were like, okay, maybe this is too much, right? But yeah, I do like what they were going with. I just found it was really disappointing. Like they could have done more with this update, but they didn't at all. But it was interesting too because you got Lucy to actually like the animations they had for the characters were interesting. Like how Slappy had this thing where he wore the helmet and he kept falling over, and Lucy just doing this whole yeah. The other weird thing too, this was back when Mrs. Dark had the gray costume with her in
Yeah,
game,
I remember
and they
that.
changed it finally to match her in-game model or in
Yeah, I
dialogue
remember that.
model. So I was like, okay. So yeah, if you ever want to see what Mrs. Dark wear different colors, you can just watch that episode. Just
Where
mind
she just kind of just like blends in with the background characters
yeah,
or the background NPC characters.
I think that's why they changed the color because I'm gonna by the time this video comes out, like we're recording this and I made a video that's coming out like literally, I think within an hour. So that gives you some time when we're doing this, but um, it would be already out by then. But I
A
made a
little
video.
behind the scenes trivia.
Yeah, there you go. I usually tend to do this anyways with my videos, but I ended up releasing a video basically talking because they're kind of close to the anniversary update because this game came out on the last day, May 30th, so like one day before the end of May. That was officially when this game was released worldwide, so it's kind of considered its anniversary date. So I decided to do a little anniversary video to kind of keep people occupied because they just want to watch Goosebumps no matter what kind of slop it is. So I was kind of looking at some things I liked about the game, and one of them was the NPCs we got. How there's these gray nobodies, but they help fill out the world because real life, yeah, you have your main characters, but you also have background characters that do absolutely nothing besides just making the room look more filled, right? So that's
Right.
one of the things I loved about this game is that they kind of helped make that into a case, right? So it makes it unique in that kind of aspect, especially since you have more bodies to scare people, which is the whole premise of the game. Is like, ooh, spook people, right? But I'm surprised they didn't go more in depth with that. Like, we didn't have any gray kids, like, a boy and a girl, like, gray shirts and everything, right? Because we have the young, like, we have the adults and then the old adults, but that's about it.
Not to be confused with the class of 1947.
Yeah, no, they're a whole different breed. But I mean, they could
You're a
totally
whole
just,
different kind of
you know what?
gray.
If they want to be lazy and they could actually do this, they could just take those game models, just recolor them into human characters looking, and then just there you go, just done. There's your human characters, NPCs. Then we also
they somehow crawled out of Gray World.
yeah, they survived. That just well, I mean, Talia did, so why not? But the other thing too,
she only had like red lipstick. Like everybody else is just like gray from head to toe.
yeah, they just got confused with Mr. It'll be interesting when we talk about him. I think I know when we're going to talk about him, so we'll hold off on his stuff for now. But I find it interesting that
we're talking about squeezers. Damn it!
Yeah, I know. Again, this game is so interesting. We're talking about other things besides squeezers because there's not a whole lot to talk about. This whole concept is just so bizarre. I mean, I like the scene and everything like that, but it's just like I don't know. There's one thing I love about Mr. Fleshman, so that there's most of the animations are basically him doing mundane things that kind of blend in, like trying to be that whole FBI Men in Black kind of thing, right?
Yeah.
But one of the animation is Take a Bath, which is literally him in his monster form, just kind of hugging the what do you call it, the
bird bath,
the water, yeah, the bird bath, and he's just doing this out in the open. It's just like, okay,
you forgot about
no one. You forgot to question the fact that there's an alien monster. Just okay.
You also forgot about that one animation where called "Picking Up an Insect," where he just like picks up a bug with like a tentacle arm and eats it.
Yeah, but you could just get confused. I mean, Martin eats bugs on the floor as well, so I mean, yeah, he kind of does the alien thing, but at that point they're like, he's a monster, whatever.
Correction: Mortman eats bugs out of the dumpster.
No, he eats it on the floor too. There's an animation with him just picking off from the floor and rubbing his belly, going.
But he mostly gets them out of the dumpster.
Yeah, he gets them in the dumpster too, but he gets them off the floor if he finds it, if he's really that peckish. But yeah, with Fleshman, there's not much out about him because he's basically a blank slate. Later on in the series, they did flesh him up a little bit more. I kind of had help with this a bit because we ended up later on making Fleshman help with Brownstein, which is his own separate update. But one of the things I wanted to point out was the whole I love Spider, and if anything happens to him, I'll kill everyone in this room and myself. And then we were kind of like wondering why is this guy wanting to do this? And I ended up making a lore near the end when they first came back out in 2021. I edited something in where it basically was like, oh, it reminds him of his pet from his home world. That's why. He looks at this thing and it's like, it's a giant puppy.
Like, I can imagine something like that. Just like Mr. Fleshman as like his octopus form walking another little octopus creature.
Yeah, he's a goofy.
Acting all joyous in like some sort of weird alien aquatic space park type thing where you get to walk your octopus dog.
He's a goofy guy, I'll say that. I mean, he's trying to be menacing and threatening, but he's not really. He's just like, he got destroyed by kids twice. One, because another alien wanted to rule over, right? But, But yeah, it's interesting because Fleshman is the mastermind behind the Squeezers because the Squeezers are basically like drones. They don't do anything. They just go with
right. It's kind of like the Hive Queen. If you destroy the Queen, then you destroy the Hive.
Yeah, they basically don't know what the fuck they're doing. So yeah, that's basically the premise with Fleshman. He is the brains of the operation, is what I imagine. But then with Grandma, which we'll talk in a later update, it's interesting with her. She comes in and she's like, "I'm the new queen now." It's like you're not even the same race. But okay.
Yeah, you're not even. I feel
like I don't even know what the hell she is. She doesn't even have okay, no, she does have a name, but God forbid am I gonna butcher that name. It's like some weird.
I went with tact just for simplicity's sake.
Yeah, but God, can you imagine? Like, first time I did that, I had Google translate that, and I'm just like, yeah, how am I supposed to say that? I don't even think that's the right way to say it, but I'm like, good enough. Yeah.
But I would like to see the special books relating to body squeezers in like the future updates.
Yeah, it'll be interesting when we actually talk about grandma though in the future because it's going to be hard for me to do because I made a joke about this. Had I made the video back in 2021, that would be fine. But because it came out in 2022, I had to skip around the fact of the so-called unfortunate events that's going on in real life about the special military operations that shall not be named. But we all know what the fuck is going on there. So it's like, you know, maybe we can tiptoe around it. Oh, but she mentions the thing, and it's like, oh, great.
Well, the way I see it is
It was
like
made before this whole thing happened, so I give it the credit. But it's like I don't know, man.
the way I see it is like I feel like it shouldn't be a problem for us to mention it by name without having to you know go off tangent about the fucking wars going on and shit because
It's just
we're
not that
supposed to be only focusing on the game, not like real world geopolitical bullshit.
I know, but there's that one fucker on the thing who will basically go like, he's like, well, that there's this thing, like this thing aged like milk because this thing happened in the future that you did not suspect, right? So it's like, fuck. But yeah, this was
Well,
made in
it actually
2019,
just
so
reminds me of that fucking. It reminds me of the Solid JJ video where, like, Fozzie was trying to be a woke comedian, and then at
we
the end,
joked
it's just
about
like,
that in the
"What do
last
you think about?"
episode. What do you
It's
think
like,
about
"What do you?"
9/11? What? Yeah. What
Hindsight is
about Hiroshima?
2020.
Yeah. What's your
Like, I'm
thoughts on
like,
the
fuck
atom
this
bomb?
guy.
Ah.
Like, we
What
can't
about
control what
Ukraine
happens.
rocks? The war is it? Never mind. Fucking kill this guy. Curse you, George W. Bush.
Yeah,
Yeah.
like we don't have any control of what happens in the future.
Yeah, I know. I still love the joke with the whole 9/11 though. I guess this joke will
Just
crash
bring
and
up
burn.
9/11. That's just
You're a
like a
horrible
horrible
person.
tragedy.
You're a
I
horrible
guess that
person,
joke will
Fozzie.
crash and burn, waka waka.
You're a horrible person, Fozzie. Yeah, no. I mean, we talked about Silent JJ last episode, so it's a nice little callback, I guess. I'm wondering if there's anything else we should chat about with the comes to Flesh. I think that's basically it. There's not a whole lot because we didn't really go more in depth with it. I mean, the story was okay. I mean, it was your generic kind of like,
Like
aliens
what
are slowly they're controlling characters to make them go like, oh yes, the aliens are great. They're our friends.
my only my like after the whole events of like the body squeezers thing, I'm kind of curious as to what Fleshman's goal is now. Is he trying to assimilate to Earth's customs, or is he still like planning on global domination?
I don't know. It could be anything of the sorts, but I will tell you something. He does have some sort of involvement with my book concept in a sense, so there is a reason why he is being brought up today. It's all connected, folks. But yeah,
Oh,
my idea, anyways. But yeah, I think.
oh,
Oh snap! Yeah, I think honestly
oh,
for
snap.
me, I think he's trying to build back his army, but at the same time, he's trying to blend in and kind of be a background character so that he doesn't stand out too much. And he's only kind of revealing himself to newer characters who don't know who the hell he is, because as we've seen when it came to it came from the internet. Rachel didn't know who the hell he was until later on he revealed himself and is just like, "What, you guys again? Why are you here?"
Now,
Yeah.
I will ask. I know that you're probably saving this until we actually get to talk about it, but will we also see Tack,
Tack. Oh,
the grandma that I named?
the grand.
For
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, for simplicity's sake.
I mean, we could have somewhat involvement in there at some point, but I kind of just had Fleshman's idea in mind, just because I think because I feel like Grandma, like Fleshman, this whole kind of invading Earth type of thing, like this is his stick. I think Grandma's gonna do
but
something
I
else.
kind of feel like those two would like. I feel like those two would just like butt heads quite a fair bit.
I think
So that's why I kind of asked.
I can totally see Grandma being the kind of secret, like she's pretending to be one of the camp counselors or something like that. But I didn't think that far through. But we could totally snag that in there some way. If you have any suggestions, so we can leave that up to interpretation with tack.
All right.
So
I guess we just move on to the next thing then, eh?
yeah. So nice. Okay. So let's just do that right
Sorry,
there.
I'm just drinking Dr Pepper right now.
Yeah, I can. Yeah. All right. So with that in mind, I guess it's time to tell my story because it's now my turn, right? That's how it goes.
Yeah.
All right. So
yeah, that's how we've always been doing it.
yeah. All right. So first things first. There was going to be another idea we were going to do. I was going to do originally because I had this in the back burner, but because we kept meeting on it, I decided to ask my partner, being like, which of the two should I pick? And of course, he picked the one you're about to watch. Hence why, instead of using one of the Simpsons clip I had in mind for a meme, we use another Simpsons clip, which was the fat Bart, Southern Bart with the I wash myself with rag on a stick. So what that had anything to do with this update? Well, that's because of the creature that you have, basically, that kids are forced to wash. That's right, we're talking about the horror that Camp Jellyjam with Counselor Buddy. Funny.
Hiya, campers.
You thought the accents were bad before? You're getting bad now. Oh boy. Okay. So I should probably go speed run through this as fast as possible, I guess. But I'll try to take my time. I will say though, before we begin, I wanted to give some thanks to Vampire because he has helped me a bit with fleshing some of these ideas out. So
yeah.
I'm gonna talk. I'm gonna say stuff, and he's gonna be like not surprised by some of it because he already knows. You're gonna be surprised unless he wants to pretend to be like, "Oh, I didn't know. Oh, wow, that's a great idea."
Oh my god, you just kind of read my mind because I was actually gonna do just that. I'm like, oh wow,
That's exactly what I would have done.
Oh my goodness, that's such an original concept.
That's exactly what I would have done. Wow.
Yeah, I was actually gonna pull that kind of shit too, but you kind of already beat me to the punch.
I mean, you could still do it. We could as well pretend that didn't happen. We could just use flashlight, like Men in Black style, just flash lights, and it's just like, all right, y'all forgot what just happened there. All right, so, anyways.
No, you already kind of like Fozzie Beared me. It's okay.
Anyways, so we should talk about the character getting added. Of course, it's Counselor Buddy. You can't now have the man there. He's the front of the cover. Jim decided to make the guy so iconic.
Also, did you know that out of the whole concept of Jellyjam, did you know that Counselor Buddy is actually a lot more advertised than Jellyjam himself?
Yeah, that's sad. Because Jellyjam, like, they try to make him look like something, and then you kind of see what he really looks like, and he's like, what the hell am I looking at? I thought it would be like some jelly monster, but no, it's some weird slug creature thing.
And I think the reason is mainly because when you look at the cover art of like Horror at Camp Jellyjam, Buddy just has like this whole Jim Carrey-esque vibe to him.
He's just standing there, menacingly, smiling at me. He's that meme. It's like
I can see him doing shit like performing as like the Mask or like the Grinch or any other Jim Carrey persona,
Basically,
like even Ace Ventura.
Yeah, it basically.
You know what? I'm tempted to draw him as Ace Ventura now.
Look. All I'm gonna say is that if for any reason there's a live adaptation of Horror Camp Jellyjam, if Buddy was not played by Jim Carrey, I'd be very disappointed. Having his pants up to his fucking armpits.
Yes.
Looking like a total goofball.
We need Counselor Buddy played by Jim Carrey.
Especially since Jim Carrey played a character that was like the fire marshal guy from Live in Color or Living in Color. If you know what I'm talking about.
I haven't seen that show in fucking years.
But it kind of reminds me of that, like, the fact that he's this goofy, like, I can totally see him kind of doing that kind of role. But yeah, no, definitely he's like,
And
yeah,
I can like,
Ace Ventura type of like goofy ass character.
yeah, and I can imagine like his walking animation would just be like an exaggerated chicken type walk, like how Jim Carrey sometimes does his characters, like Ace Ventura.
Yeah, definitely, I can totally see that. He would be an interesting walk cycle, so you definitely stand
Yeah,
out. Kind of like
like
how,
Buddy would be like the perfect thing to spend all your money on, just because of how goofy this asshole is.
especially since like like he kind of comes close to Faraday in a sense because Faraday is an interesting character. As soon as you unlock him, he's like immediately his walking animation is that he's just filming everything. It's just like it fits within his character. So I could totally see Buddy being unique in that sense that he actually stands out in front of everyone else. Maybe more
But
so than others.
he would also be unique in the sense of like Susie Snowflake too.
Yeah, yeah, definitely.
Because he would
He's
be like this exaggerated, eccentric character, like in the same vein as Susie.
Yeah, and it makes you wonder if he's like that because that's just how he is, or if it's because of something else that's going on, which I will.
Maybe he had maybe he took too many Holly Jolly dust, if you know what I mean.
Yeah, yeah, he glitches out of the system and he became like he just over exaggerated himself. He's addicted
Oh
to
no,
the stuff. I need
I was
more of that. It's like, hey, Susie, can you have some of that Holly Jolly dust? I need
yeah. He
some
starts
more.
scratching his arm like, "Hey, I need more of that dust.
I
You
need
got
to be
more of that?
more happy. I'm getting a little
I
depressed.
I can't start the day off without a smile."
And he's just scratching himself. like
Yeah,
he's
yeah.
like
He
that
scratched
character from,
himself like an headache.
yeah, but yeah, you basically like the Eddie no, Dave Chappelle character, the crack addict one, he's just like scratching himself. It's like I need my Susie dust. I can't start my day without it.
I can't start the day without a smile.
It's like no, it gives me this he's like wakes up depressed, it's like hold on.
Yeah,
Alright.
yeah. He starts to. Yeah, he just wakes up all depressed, like he looks
Hey,
groggy, like he
hey,
doesn't want to
counselor,
do this shit.
hey, counselor
And
buddy,
but
what's
he's like,
that on your face? Oh, hold on. No, that's nothing.
like I can imagine he starts off the day all groggily and unhappy and shit. Like he just got out of bed, like I hate my life. But then he like goes off screen. You hear like a snoring sound, like, and then like he comes back with like a big ass grin, and you see like little purple dust under his nose.
Where did you get that? It's like, and then you're gonna have Susie be like Walter White in the sense it's just like I am the one who knocks. We're cooking there, Andy.
Yeah, just
We need more
you
dust.
see Roper into the drug business. We're cooking, Susie.
There you go. I got your meme going on there. So we need a comic of that now. Oh my god! If you do that, I'll show it off. But God, that
Oh
is
yeah, I'm
funny.
totally gonna do that.
There we go. See, this is sometimes
It
we
was so.
want to do this. It's so we're all goofy.
This
Anyway,
is just as funny as the fucking kissing meme I did with the growing legs.
oh, I know. I love that too. We all thought the same thing. It was just like, yeah, them like kissing like Sonic and Mario type thing. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's so awkward looking, and of course, it's like I had to meme it too. So I had to do it twice. One in the podcast, and then one in the actual video in part 4, I think.
Why is it that every time we do your segment, we always like meme about shit?
Why not? I'm the meme channel. It's my thing, so I'm more than welcome to it. We both think alike, my friend. Anyways, we should probably continue on with this story and have some fun with it.
Yeah.
So, anyways, character counselor buddy, we all know that. He comes with
Yeah.
his house, with his buddy's cabin. I'm not sure how
Right.
it looks. It's just a typical cabin type thing. It could be unique or something.
Yeah.
Crafting shop is going to be the sports rental cabin. The reason why is because this is supposed to be a sports themed camp. So, I mean, you would have a storage for equipment. So, I'm assuming that's there. Right.
Oh, Oh, okay, yeah. Because earlier, I remember in the thing that we were writing, I had it as messy hole.
Yeah, I mean, because we kind of have a mess hall already, like in
Yeah,
the
with
thing.
the haunted school update.
Yeah, but especially with the items we're crafting, it makes sense if it's like a sports rental cabin or something like that. But
Yeah, yeah, it does make sense.
anyways, the currency that is going to be the main event currency that you're grinding to get the fill up the funny meter is the king coin, because of course it has to be the king coin because that's the thing you collect in the story, right? The more king
Yeah,
coins you get, the more better you are to be the best, only the best, right?
I like that band.
It can't be again. Raw item is going to be Jellyjam jar or the Jellyjam jar.
Yeah, the Jellyjam jar.
Yeah, say that 3 times fast.
Jellyjam.
The
Wait, how
three
many times?
J's or J3,
the
whatever you
three,
call it.
the
Yeah,
three J's.
yeah, there we go. Anyways, so the items you can craft with that is sports bat, the sports padding.
Well,
and the-
before you do go on, I want to say that I do want to mention that there are two different sets.
Yes, there's 2 different sets.
There's
So basically, this is how I've been doing it. Was basically like having separated so that the spawn scene has its own unique item, basically.
right.
So that's how I'm
So the
doing
one
mine.
set that
So
we're doing is known as the sport set.
yeah, so the sports set. So it's the sporting bats, the sports padding, right? And then you add these two together with the Jelly Jam jar to get the Royal Garm. That's
So I feel like you should also mention what creates the items as well. Like for a sports bat, you get the Jelly Jam jar plus pencil case.
I have no yeah, I mean, I have no idea. You can go ahead and say what do you think? Sports
Okay.
pad, yeah. So sports pad,
Um, Sports padding would have Jelly Jam jar plus the sewing box.
yeah, and then sports padding would be
Well, I already did sports padding.
yeah, so sports bat would be the pencils, I guess.
Yeah.
And then the Royal
And
Garm
then
is those
Royal.
threes together
Yeah.
with the Jelly Jam thing. Yeah, so we
Yeah.
got that. We got wash bucket, which
The next set we're doing is called the clean set.
yeah, the cleaning set. So the wash bucket is gonna be the raw item plus tin cans, I would say.
Tin can telephone, yeah.
Yeah. Then we have rancid mop. So that's the jar plus what do we just
Blob.
say? The blobs, yeah, so that makes sense with that. Don't like you might be like, well, how are you gonna blob and that make it? It's like don't think about it. You can just think of it like you trade these items in for this item, okay? How about that?
Well, the,
We're crafting.
the well, we reasoned it as because its name is the rancid mop and it's used to clean Jelly Jam, and Jelly Jam is like this pink amorphous blobbish thing. It just makes sense.
Yeah. So the wash bucket, rancid mop, and the jelly jam jar it makes the spoiled riches.
Um, by the way, I did help with the names, so yeah.
I did give you credit, so this is the wow, all right. So the scene that we're going to talk about in a minute, that crafting item that drops is called the best metal. So that would be the metal that you win to be able to be honored, right, to get your special prize, which if you read the book, you know what it is, but you know,
If you know, you know.
you know, but yeah. So anyways, you got that. So with the Royal Garm, the Spoiled Riches, and the King Jelly Jam, no, sorry, the best medal, you get King Jelly Jam's crown.
Also known as the King's Crown.
Yes, because that, he killed him, so he get his crown. So why not? So anyways, so the supplier that we're getting here, this is gonna be the item you can craft or you can get on the prize track as well as in the shop is gonna be a snail shell. And it's gonna be a big snail snow. But yeah, that's another thing that's hard to say.
Snail shell.
Yeah, well, you can say it easy, but I can't apparently. So the promoted supplier, so the item that's going to be spawned in the the promenade is the messy hall. I think that's where so I
Oh,
think that's where you thought the messy hall was, probably because it's the
yeah.
no promenade supply, not the crafting station.
Right. Oh, right. Duh. Because we didn't exactly write down the. I didn't write down the crafting station area yet.
Yeah.
Duh.
Anyways, so let's talk about the
Silly me.
scene. The scene is going to be called Winter's Walk. Now, I don't know. I'm assuming it's supposed to be like this, going into a cave of some kind, or I don't know. Like I'm assuming it's some sort of like, I'm thinking like
I
a
would.
cat, like
I
almost
was
like a
thinking
castle.
that it would be something similar to like a cave, but it have like a little red carpet going inside.
I'm thinking like a fake putt putt car, like golf, the castle car. Like, you know what I'm talking about? Like a fake castle wall, and it's like behind, it's like an actual cave thing going on there. So it's like a
Oh
facade.
yeah, like something in a
Facade. You're
mini.
going,
Okay, I
ah,
get you.
that's right. You're going down on and it would make sense with the whole royalty thing that we got going on here. So I thought, yeah, let's do that. So, of course, when you do get this as the grand prize, if you buy all 3 packs, you get Monster Buddy included in this, so he's spawnable in this thing. But because Buddy is going to be the last prize you win in this prize, a fictional prize track, you don't spawn him in the Promenade one. So for the Promenade one, we get Counselor Scooter and Holly, right? So those are the 2 other camp counselors that were mentioned. So generic boy and girl, right?
Yeah.
And then there's another character I added because I thought this would be a funny concept, and I'll explain myself. The monster snail. Now,
Uh,
now,
where's he from?
huh?
Where's this one from?
The monster snail?
Yeah.
That's the speed. That's one of the spawnables.
Oh yeah, duh.
Yeah, yeah. Anyways, what I was about to say, the gimmick with the monster snail is when it's summoned, it is the slowest thing that's moving. So, God forbid if it decides to pick a character closest and it's walking away, it's gonna take so long to get to that area. But here's the double-edged sword of it, right? It's like, yeah, it like, why would you ever spawn this thing, right? Because it's so slow. If it manages to contact the target it was aimed at, it immediately speeds rather quickly to everyone else. It just bumps them. Like, there's no scare animations. Basically, kind of like how Cuddles or Aaron's um, scare animations are, where they just kind of bump into each other and just kind of. So imagine the snail going so slow, and then scares somebody and immediately just speeds through, like zip zooms all over the place.
I feel like that's kind of already a thing that happens with some of the spawn monsters. Like they start
That's the
off pretty
joke.
slow, but once they scare somebody, they just speed up.
That's the joke. So it's more hilarious. It's basically two being
Oh, I
screamed.
see. It's more funny because it's intentional.
Yes. So imagine
Okay.
the thing slowly moving, and as soon as it gets its target, then it goes like really quick, like speedy fast. It's just bumping all over everybody. So
Okay,
it's
that
just
makes more
scaring
sense.
everybody. So it's like that's one of the so that's the jokey kind of funny character I thought it would be funny to add, just because of the whole. That's the thing I've noticed is, like, especially when you come across like Long Ben, like kind of like he's like slowly walking. As soon as he scares somebody, then he runs fast. It's just like, what? Okay, what is this? It's like he gets pump up his speed or something like that. It's just ridiculous. So I thought, yeah, you know what? It makes sense. A snail moving slow, and it's just like, there you go, right?
Right.
So that's my whole thing there. So let's go ahead and talk about some of the items. And I'm not really much of the items per se. I mean, we kind of are, but I'm mostly going to be talking about the tasks as well as the animation specials for certain characters, right? And these
Right.
also include characters that are basically the special premium one that you get on the special packs, or what do you call them?
The
That they
special
made.
bucks.
Yeah, yeah, in the packs. So anyways, the normal task, so this is basically to go into building and get item, is going to be called sign up for camp. So this is going to be like stuff for Mar, Mortman, Dustin, Lucy, like at first. Like, these are the things that they're going to do in order to help.
I don't really see Mortman wanting to sign up for sports camp because I know he hates kids. So why in the fuck would he want to join sports camp?
I mean, let me see here. I mean, I don't know. It's because it's generic. It's like, he's one of the main characters you get first thing.
Yeah,
So it's like
but
he has to be involved.
usually they have like a whole separate thing away from the kids. Like it still drops the same item, but they usually have something else, which is something that I've done with the Batwing Hall.
I mean, okay, we could change. So it's instead of sign up for camp, it could be like for the kids to sign up for camp, and then the adults or something more or less like enjoy break off or something like that because the kids are not
Enjoy
there.
a kid-free day.
Exactly, a kid-free summer. There you go.
Kid-free vacation. Yeah, just like in the fucking I think it was like Fairly Odd Parents, where like the adults are celebrating that they're not hanging around with their kids, and all the kids are like all the way in like the Lunatorium.
Yeah, I remember that.
It'd be like a kid-free summer or some shit.
Speaking of, I guess the two characters, Scooter and Holly, there could look like those two freaks.
I'm Happy Peppy Gary. I'm Peppy Happy Betty. We're Peppy Happy Peppy Happy Happy Peppy Happy.
Yes, that was my idea, and I wanted to do that.
So there you go. If you ever wonder what they look like, I mean, I'm assuming you're drawing them, so it's like there you go. That's the concept.
Happy Peppy Betty and Happy Peppy Gary.
Ah! Yeah. Anyways, so I'm gonna talk about Buddy in a moment, but I'm gonna talk about the main characters we got going on here. So Lucy has two animations that she's gonna get. One of them is swimming practice, which is gonna require an outside pool. So that's one of the items you're gonna win in the prize track, right?
Yeah.
And it's just a generic kind of like swimming back and forth animation, like you would see in her bathing, like in her she actually got a design of a bathing suit that she never wore, so that could be something that we can utilize there. So that's interesting.
I didn't know she had one.
They had designed one, I think, way back when. Like I looked at some, like I didn't see it myself, but they did have a document suggesting to make one, so it's possible that that's the case. Yeah. Anyways, and the other one is
it might come in handy when we start working on Curse of Camp Cold Lake or something.
Yeah, I mean, there you go. I mean, I know Dustin has swim trunks anyway, so it's not out of the ordinary.
Yeah, that was. I do remember that during the Valentine and Poison Lake thing.
Yeah, so Lucy probably has something similar. And the other one she has is something called Overhearing Plans, and it requires a shady cabin. Sorry. And this is going to be one of those animations where it will show Buddy being included as far as animation task goes, but it will also have Lucy in a bit. And this will require...
It's kind of like what happened, like, to explain it, it would almost be like the same type of animations with that they did with Harriest Valentine.
With Dustin and him, yeah. So like, think of like Dustin's animation. It's basically the same thing. So it's going to require a shady cabin. So, yeah, just imagine a shady cabin of some sort. Basically, she's in the background of the cabin, kind of like looking behind, and then you have Buddy just kind of like talking to somebody, or talking on the phone or something like that.
Yeah.
Then we have Dustin, who does something called Batter Up, which require a batting cage, and it's basically the kind of in the animations with him kind of like tapping his shoes with the bat, and it's kind of swinging practice. You know what I mean? Like him just kind of practicing his swings. So there's that.
Should we also mention the items that they drop for these quests, or no?
I mean, you could, but I didn't really think it would be that special, just because it's going to be like one of the like Dustin's Batter Up is probably going to drop the batting cage. I mean the bat. Lucy's animation when it comes to, I think, was it the wash bucket for her swimming, and was the rancid? No.
It was the other way around. Swim practice drops the rancid mop, and plans drops wash bucket.
Okay. And then the sports padding is with Marty coming up.
Yeah.
Yeah, so Marty has an animation called Cheat to Win, which requires the winning podium. So you know how those Olympics have the winning podiums of third, second, and first place? So it's literally that meme of like like him staying in the first podium, kind of like, yeah, I'm the best. Like he has a little medal on him. You know,
Everyone else sucks but me.
yeah, it kind of reminds me of that meme where the guy's just like, "Yeah, I win!" He's just spraying like a bottle on him, and he's like third place. First, second place is looking out and like, what, why are you stuck?
Wait, wasn't that a cyanide and happiness thing?
Yeah, I don't know. It was something along those lines, but
I think I feel like that was something made by Cyanide and Happiness, but I know that
might be who
vaguely
it is.
familiar.
But yeah, it might be that might be who it is. But
someone in the comments, feel free to correct me if I'm wrong.
All right, so we're gonna be talking about the special characters. So these are the two animation characters that will drop the special items in per se. And the characters I'm featuring is first one is Mr.Fleshman, and he has something called Take a Dip, and is require a oh god, what the hell is wrong with me? I just realized something.
What?
So the raw item we have here is called a Jellyjam jar. And do you want to guess what this item is that he comes with?
What?
A Jellyjam jar. My idea was supposed to be an actual like giant jar of some kind with the actual Jellyjam stuff in it. So it could be like an actual a dome.
If you wanted to make it like a decoration, you could call it a giant Jellyjam jar. The 4 J's.
Yeah. The jumbo Jellyjam jar.
Yeah.
There you go.
Jumbo Jellyjam jar.
So
there
it goes on the jumbo Jellyjam jar. There you go. So that's the thing we're gonna go with there. So yeah, he has something called Take a Dip. So this is gonna be him in his actual octopus form, kind of floating in there, kind of doing his tentacle things, right? So
doing octopus things,
doing his usual, Mr. Fleshman type things. And then the other character I have here is Zeke. No, sorry, I should just mention Fleshman is gonna be dropping the Royal Riches, I think it's called. Let me see here.
Spoiled Riches.
The Spoiled Riches, yeah. So that's what he's going to be dropping. And the Royal Garm is going to be dropped by Zeke. And he's going to be telling spooky tales, and it's going to require a totem pole. And the totem pole, I imagine, is going to be something like say, Slappy. Like imagine, those totem poles you see, like in, like, what I'm talking about, right? But imagine like
I know what a
imagine a Goosebumps version of that. So like Slappy and, Curly and whoever else.
Slappy would be at the very top, and Curly would be like at the
very
bottom. Trying to establish like a Goosebumps monster hierarchy of sorts.
Exactly.
Where Slappy's like always at the top because of course he is.
Got the monster. He got the haunted mask.
Yeah, you got like the haunted mask, and I guess you get like Prince Koru or something.
Yeah, he needs love. I was the first. No, I need a nerf.
Yeah. But anyway,
that one. Yeah.
I also had listed Evan Ross.
Yeah, I mean that was also in the one we were talking about originally, but I didn't think I'd used her. Him.
You forgot Evan was a dude, right?
I thought you said the robot.
Aaron?
I thought you said Aaron.
No, I said Evan Ross.
Yeah, Evan. Yeah, I forgot about him.
But I had him listed under playing ping pong, which would require a ping pong table.
Yeah, we have a special another animation with him. He needs love, so he could go on the other premium bundle there on the side. I don't know what he drops. He drops something. He drops a gel. You know what? No, I got something better for him. So something I've seen Adams do, which is so stupid, but you know what? Why don't we keep this tradition alive? Sometimes they have their characters, when you unlock them, do the stupidest animation drops, which is dropping the raw item itself. So it's completely useless. You would only use them to get the actual currency for it. Let's have them be the same thing. Let's have them drop the Jellyjam jar.
Aw, poor Evan.
Yeah, I forgot what... I don't even remember with Evan before. Yeah, he's from Monster Blood, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Of course, he's with Andy.
Yeah. I don't know, that kid. Yeah, the kid's. He's kind of growing on me a bit. He certainly's no. What's his Connor? He's no Connor. So you know.
Well, let's be fair. Connor is just like Billy Deep, but a nerd.
He's not even that. He's basically Billy Deep, but watered down in the background character. He wasn't even
Watered
special in his
down.
own story.
Get it?
Yeah. So, anyways, we also have Evan there, which why not?
We can also probably add Granny or Aaron.
Yeah, I mean, we can have them be as one of those animations. They go to a building and disappear with a timer clock on the side, right?
Oh no, those are boring.
I know they're boring, but we only have so many animations we could do. But well, I mean, we could. That's the beauty of this. You can use our own imagination to decide what we think would be best. So I mean, I threw those ideas out there as a suggestion, but we can always fix what we think would be the best, right? Only the best, in Camp Jellyjam, right?
But even Buddy would agree that going into building things are just boring.
Oh, of
It's
course,
like, that's
but
not the best. That's just boring.
but we think there's only so much money we can make. We can't do it all. Some has to do sacrifices.
Sometimes you have to break a few eggs to make an omelet.
Yeah, exactly. And speaking of Buddy, let's talk about what his animations are going to be. As far as what he drops, did we write them down?
I did, yeah.
Okay, so one of the first animation we have here is cheering on campers. What does that drop?
A blob of borscht.
A blob of borscht, yeah. Okay. Then we have the winner's walk. I mean, I guess the cheering on campers would be him kind of doing like imagine, you know how Faraday kind of claps and goes yeah woo, on his like animation with his theater piece there.
Yeah.
Imagine that, but like front view, standing there. So he's just kind of doing that.
It's like, yeah, you go ahead, walk that street.
Yeah.
You walk that street good.
So we have the winner's walk, which what does that drop?
Marbles.
Marbles. And I'm trying to think. I think that's him marching down with like a flag or something like that. Like I'm trying to imagine.
Yeah, like one of those kind of similar to like the leader of a marching band, kind of.
Yeah. So I guess kind of like how Eakins kind of has her thing.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I guess kind of like that, but its own special kind.
Yeah.
Then we have only the best, which what does that drop again?
Binoculars.
Binoculars. And I'm trying to remember what that animation was about.
Yeah, I don't quite remember either, honestly.
I think, God, it's like it was one of those interesting names, but we don't know exactly what they would do for that. So,
if I can recollect, I think it was him studying like kind of just like studying from afar to see whether the kids are.
Oh, that's right. That's why he had the binoculars, because he was actually just just spying on
the
people.
kids. Yeah.
Could use like one of the bushes, kind of like Yeah,
just like
big, like one of those bushes you put on the side, like how Mortman, or no, not Mortman, Brewer's clone kind of does the pruning on one of the plants. Imagine him like that, but behind the bush. It's
I can imagine him doing like the Homer Simpson thing where he just like emerges from the bushes, just like pulls out binoculars and just like.
Oh my god! So kind of like doing the Shadow Lord it's a chameleon type of thing where you just go hiding in the building. But like so you got binoculars right down, kind of hides in the bush and kind of comes back. Yeah, so could add a tall bush for that one, I guess. And then the last one is sports practice, which is what did that one?
Well, I actually have two listed here. One of them is sports practice, and that drops the sports drink, which is actually an item that we don't often see when it comes to crafting.
Yeah, it's surprising. I mean, it's one of those items we get a lot of, but we don't use anything of them for.
It's something similar to, like, of course, marbles and also the Annihilator 3000.
Yeah, so there's that.
Yeah.
I forgot what he did for that one. I guess it was like him with like a soccer ball, or I'm trying to think what it was.
Yeah, I think it was like some sort of like I think he was like running down the roads or the sidewalks and shit, kicking the ball.
Yeah, I think that's what it was. Just kind of like doing that type of stuff. And then of course he has one of those in building animations that he finds bored
Yeah,
in his own building
yeah,
called Planned Camp
yeah,
Activities.
yeah, and that drops the classic novel.
Yeah. So I think that's about it as far as stuff goes. I guess
Yeah,
we should go into the story now. Like, so we go to the main one and then we go to Buddy's story.
yeah.
So,
So
okay.
so drag us by the feet to your world of imagination.
Well, we first start off with who else? Like,
Yeah, hello there, player.
my boys and
Can't
girls,
bust some
it's me, the
spaghetti.
shopkeeper, bootlegged. He is.
You boils and ghouls.
He's basically the crypt keeper, right? That's what he is. I love him. I feel bad for him, but yeah. Anyway, so Curly is going to introduce the story. Basically, he's like, it's summertime. The time where all this stuff and blah blah. I didn't write. I'll be honest, I didn't write all this stuff down, so I'm making it on the fly. I did write notes to be like, this is what I'm happening in this quest line. So it's just like
That's what I did with Comics Up Horrors.
the,
I just kind of
the,
made
the,
it up on the
the
spot.
horrors. In the sense. So, basically Carly's going to be introducing the whole premise of basically like it's summer vacation, the kids are bored, whatever, and there's going to be something that's going to come up and we're going to find out what it is, what the kid, I wonder what the kids are up to, right? Maybe something sinister is going to happen this summer, right? So then the quest starts. Then it goes back, and it's basically Dustin. He gets a letter with Lucy to go to camp. So he's just like, hey, did you get this? It's like, I got this letter from the man. Did you get this too? It's like, yeah, it's weird. It's this camp Jellyjam thing. Wonder what that's about. I don't know. Might as well do
Camp Jellyjam Sports Camp.
Yeah. It's like, why not? Right? Have fun with that. So we get to there. So it starts off, right? And they get to the camp, right? So it's just like, wow, I didn't see a lot of people, like a lot of kids are here. And it's like, oh no, it's Marty's here too. Right? It's like, what are you dweebs doing here? Right? I thought this was like exclusive for only cool people, right? Or only the
I didn't know they let the commoners.
Yeah, and then you get Happy Pappy, Holly or Scooter coming in. It's just like, all right, kids, come on to the assembly. We're gonna get introduced. Like, the meeting is about to start, or
oh my god, I can imagine they just approach them like the fucking parent bots from like Invader Zim with like the creepy smiles and looking eerie and shit.
I love the parents.
It's like, hi kids.
I love when they were glitching out too. I think I think there's something wrong with my spine. Oh, it's like, oh no, honey, it's diarrhea.
Diarrhea.
Yeah, I remember that. Screwed everything up. I still love the aspirin one.
I lost my arm in the war.
Yeah, I love this spine. I love the aspirin commercial. Oh, my spine! Aspirin.
I think I've broken my spine. And then he just breaks his spine like, ah!
Yeah, because he realized he had to do what the commercial was doing because all that stuff there.
Yeah.
Yeah, I love the robot bot. Like, I love Invader Zim too. He's the best.
Only the best.
Yeah, I know. I mean, we should have an Invader Zim character come in some point, but yeah, anyways. Quest starts after that whole thing. Then we get back from the quest, and it's basically they get introduced to Buddy. So the other camp counselor comes in and says like, all right, here's our camp director, instructor, or whatever. Like, what do you call those? I know when there was a name for them, but when we did Night Moon, the Camp Night Moon thing, with Walter being the camp counselor, like the director, I think it was.
Yeah.
And he had Sater be this, like, I'm assuming, like, so basically the camp director, the head honcho.
Yeah.
It's like camp our buddy, or the character Buddy. It's like, hey y'all, it's me, Buddy. I'm your best friend. Kind of that kind of corny thing. Welcome to camp. God.
Welcome to Camp Jellyjam.
The sports camp where only the best survive. And this is where he talks about the whole, like, when you do good on the sports, we'll give you a special medal. Get more. I don't know how much.
Like more of these.
Yeah, get more of these,
more.
and you get a special prize. Right. So
Yeah.
all right. So yeah. So then that comes to the twist. So basically, it's like, so then the kids get tasked to play sports and earn medals, basically, right? So he's just like, I'm gonna go swimming, right? Or whatever you call it. Like, no, it's just like, all right, I guess we go to Dustin, right? And he's just like, all right, I'm gonna try my practice on this. I like wanted to be a baseball player, so then he kind of names a famous baseball player. I'm not sure who, but they can do an obscure kind of look and be like, yeah, that guy. I want to be like just like him. Not abnormal to be like have a name like that be pop in, right? Because why not? He has baseball cards, I assume. That would be,
yeah, I don't see why not.
why not, right? They get to throw in a joke. I kind of imagine they could throw in a joke like one of the worst baseball players, like I want to be just like him, and then people look him up and look like, oh, he's the worst one. Why? It's just like, oh, I wanted to see if he paid attention. But probably not. But anyways. Yeah, so that happens. Quest there. And yeah, we're going to speed through this again. Sorry about that, but time. Trying to make it as quick as possible. So anyways, that happens. So then after the quest done, we get to Dustin and he's like, he hits the ball. It's like, I hit a home run. It's like, oh no, I hit Buddy like hard, right, by accident, right? It's like, oh geez, I'm so sorry, Buddy. And of course, Buddy is just like, yeah, it's like, did you hit me? Like, did you hit me on did you hit me, Dustin? And it's like, yes, I'm so sorry. Please don't kick me out. So it's like, that's nice and all, but you gotta hang harder. Remember, only the best. And that kind of just like, that's
okay.
What?
I could like imagine like during that time where he gets hit, like his neck kind of like snaps to the side, and he still has that creepy grin on his face.
Yeah, he just snaps his neck and like wipes the back. And, oh shit! I killed him, and he goes.
It's like, oh, I hope you're not like severely damaged.
Oh no, I killed him.
Oh, I am. But you need to work on that swing.
Try a little harder. Remember, only the best. And it's like, oh, this is okay. So that freaked them out. So
yeah, it's like that's pretty fucked up, man.
There you go. It's like, okay, well, this is weird. All right, so there you go. Get a little bit more morbid. he accidentally hit Buddy so hard he breaks his neck.
Oh yeah.
Anyways, yeah, that would be interesting too. You hear crack. It's like, oh no. Anyways, so the next quest hits, and basically Dustin is talking to Lucy, and he's just like, Lucy, you're not gonna believe this. Something's weird about this camp. I just hit the director by accident, but he seems fine, whatever, right? And Lucy's kind of brushing it off. It's just like, it's probably weird. It's like, no, you don't understand, Lucy. I killed this man, and he came back from the dead. Like nothing happened. Right? So it's like, you know what? Like, I'm busy, Dustin. I want to go swimming, right? So then that's when the swimming animation kind of comes in, right?
Yeah.
So then that happens, and then she's like, comes out of the pool after the swim, she's kind of drying herself off, and then she's like hearing, the counselors are moving and they're kind of acting funny. So he's like, oh, maybe Dustin might be onto something. So let me sneak my way. Let's see where they're going, right? Because she's curious now. Because after Dustin's like, normally Dustin, like, she's always not sure with him because he can always play pranks because he's a kid after all. But sometimes when he's serious, you can tell. So he's like, okay, maybe there's something going on here. So she kind of goes, all right, let's investigate, see what's going on, right? See what funny business is going on there. So get to the next quest. So she kind of goes, sneaks behind, and she sees that they're talking, like Buddy's talking, right, to some people, basically the other directors, right, secretly, and she's wondering what's going on there. So this is where the eavesdropping thing comes in. So that's when that task comes into play.
What do you mean, eavesdropping?
Yeah, the eavesdropping thing, right?
I keep hearing ears dropping. Like,
her ears drop to the floor. Yes, eavesdropping. That's the word, not eardropping.
Yeah, keep your
Ears could
ears
be
dropping.
dropping for all we know. But yeah, anyways.
Yeah, she just rips off her ears like fucking Picasso and just drops them to the floor.
Yeah. So the something I want to make a note of is that the counselors and everyone like that are wearing caps, right? Like normally, like why would I make a mention of this? It makes sense later on, especially when you get to Monster Buddies' form, because he has his hat off, and it kind of explains what's going on here. But anyways, after her eavesdropping, not eavesdropping.
Yes.
After her eavesdropping, she finds out that Fleshman is behind this scenario because it sounds like he's talking about how ever since Fleshman came in by, he's basically made the camp so much better, right? Speaking of,
Right.
we need to find our special winner, right? It's like, oh no, something. So she immediately knows Fleshman's behind this. So it's like, okay, so something is up, something bad, right? So maybe we shouldn't get these coins, right?
Yeah.
So basically, Lucy's trying to warn Dustin about, like, maybe you're right, Dustin. Something is going on here. We shouldn't probably be collecting the coins. And it's just like, and then Buddy comes along. He's just like, we have a winner. Everyone say thank to Marty. It's like, oh no. Because, and of course, he's like, how did Marty win? He didn't even do anything. Of course, he cheated. So he's bullied kids out of their coins, right?
Right.
So that task happens, and he kind of does the whole thing with that. So after the task ends, Marty gets escorted with Buddy to be like, congratulations on the win, Marty. You're a very special camper. You get to go to the winner's path. And he's like, oh yeah, that's what I'm talking about, the winner's path and everything like that. So then that's when he goes to the makeshift castle.
What do you mean the winner's walk?
Yeah, the winner's walk. I mean, it's a path. It's the winner's walk path too, hell.
Well, I mean, even then, you still want
He
to be
doesn't
like
know that, but,
consistent.
you know. And it's like a big castle with the word winner on it. With flashing color. It's like, yeah.
Yeah, big like circus lights saying
Yeah.
"Win, congratulations, you're a
Congratulations.
winner."
Your winner. Bad grammar and everything. Right.
Yes,
He
we
doesn't
need
pay
that.
attention to that. But that's
Congratulations,
more of a red
you're a winner.
flag that something's up, right? So
Yeah.
So of course the kids are following him because they're wondering, like basically like he goes to the winner's walk type thing, right? So then later we get to the next quest, and Marty's just like coming in. He's just like, what did I win exactly? Like, what is this place? Why is it so dark? He's like, you get to win a special prize. You get to clean our king and lord, Jellyjam himself. And then you see the monster. And it's just like this giant snail-like creature, right? Because it's kind of described as kind of a snail creature, especially since it's like fucking sweat snails as well, right?
Yeah.
And he's
He
like, what
reproduces
the? Like
asexually.
his shocked face is like, what? No. He's like, I didn't know this would be my prize. It's like, here's your mom. It's like, what is a king? Like, what is he? What is what is Marty gonna be doing for you, King Jellyjam? You washed me with a rag on a stick. I love it. It's
He
like,
gonna
that's what you
wash
get for
me with a
cheating,
rag
son.
on a stick.
That's what you get for cheating, Marty. Of course, he's screaming like, "No, help!" Right? And then that's when the quest kind of starts, and then that happens and it ends, and then that's when Lucy hears Marty yelling it, like, it's just like, that's Marty. We need to find him. We need to help him. It's just like, all right, so they're gonna go run after him, right? Basically telling him to kind of like to try to help him or something like that, right?
Yeah.
And at that point, I believe kids are probably already washing this creature, so he's not the only one there. I'm assuming,
Yeah.
right? So basically, the last quest here, they come to the realization that the monster. Actually, hold on. No, all right, sorry. I want to wind back that for a bit because basically, what happened is that Lucy and Dustin came in after him and said, "We need to get out of here, run!" Right? And this is when you get to see the monster buddy form, which is basically him with his cap off, and it's revealed that there is a snail on his head. So this is like brain snail. Like they were like brain sludge suckers all over again. So that's why he's acting weird. It's because he's being mind controlled by this creature thing that apparently Fleshman has.
Would it be possible for Jellyjam to sweat out these brain snails?
That's what I'm thinking.
Instead of just like regular snails?
That's what I'm thinking is going on here. It's like it is a part of him. So he's using him as a pup, like basically kind of like how Fleshman is a hive mind when it comes to the what do you call it? His little squeezer army. This creature doesn't have anybody per se. So what he does instead is he acts like a parasite. He kind of controls people around him and uses them to his advantage, right?
While also at the same time, sprouting all these other ones like an aphid, because, fun fact, a little entomology lesson, aphids don't necessarily have a gender, and when they're born, they already have other aphids inside them, so they just sprout out more aphids.
So they're like a hermaphrodite?
Not exactly. They're just kind of like genderless almost, but they just clone themselves constantly.
Yeah, okay. So they're like, so it makes, it's an interesting creature. So yeah, there is no, so yeah, they call him King Jellyjam, but I think it's because king is more powerful compared to, say, a queen. Although queens are more, it's weird because in our societies, we think kings are more highly, but realistically in Animal Kingdom, the queens are more worth anything.
Well, in entomology, that is the case because the females tend to be a lot more dangerous than the males.
Yeah, especially because they're the ones who ends up eating the males.
Well, in terms of like spiders and mantids, of course, but you don't exactly see a fucking bee or a wasp doing that.
Well, I mean, they kick them out, so that might as well be killing them off. But anyways, yeah, so anything that happens. So we get to the last quest where basically the kids they think they defeated the monster because they ran, right? But we don't know.
Before you do continue, there is one more bit of entomology fun fact. Snails can actually be hermaphrodites.
Yeah, that's cool.
All right, now continue.
You have both? Yeah, doesn't everybody? No!
Yeah. I can imagine King Jellyjam like, wait, you have both sets of genitals? Doesn't everybody?
No. That's probably why
like, no.
maybe that can be confusing with the other ones, but yeah, so that's why it's easy for them to control it. But anyways, that's I'm like creeped out by the idea of that, like snails are just kind of like like screwing with your head there.
Mind screwing.
So anyways, they run out and he's like, okay, this camp is screwed, right? Let's just leave out of here. It's like, but what about Bunny and whatnot? It's like, well, screw them. Let's get out of here. Right?
Screw all these other kids. They can watch them with a rag on a stick.
So everyone ends up leaving after telling the kids everything, so they run out. So that's when the last quest kind of comes into play. And I imagine this is where you also get to unlock the final prize. And my final prize, usually they're kind of reserving this for a statue, but I actually want to think of something even cooler. What if you actually had King Jellyjam as the final prize, as an animated decoration, and you have these generic kids washing this thing in this bathtub, and you can have little sprinklers on them too, and then little snails kind of, like it's probably too animated, but I'm just assuming this would be funny to have King Jellyjam himself kind of be the final prize, and it'd be like it's a nice little. Like, I would see that being a trophy. So it's like, yeah, you know what? Have King Jellyjam, because they teased him at one point in the game with the blob monster with a crown on him before, but they turned that into the blob that ate everyone's statue, which is interesting. But anyways, yeah, so that's the end of that quest line, and then it gets to Curly when he does his closing stuff. He's like, tomfoolery. I'm assuming, I want to see if Slappy should get butt in on this as well during this conversation, because I could totally see that happening, but I'm not sure what exactly he would be stating. Or what would be funny.
I do have a question.
Yeah.
Would King Jellyjam kind of look similar to like the Slurms in Futurama?
Yeah, you could make him look like it because there's no real description with him. It's more or less like the comic that I kind like they kind of look like them in the comics in the graphic novel if you remember seeing them.
Like the only time I've ever seen a physical manifestation of King Jellyjam, he just looked like this big giant pink slime creature with a crown.
Yeah, but if you look at okay, so you're familiar with the graphic novels that ran for a bit, like the 3 trilogy ones?
Yeah, the graphics.
There was one that they did for Camp Jellyjam, and that was also illustrated what King Jellyjam would have looked like, and he looked more like a snail-like creature.
I didn't see any snail-like features on him.
Well, I
Like when
mean,
I saw him.
yeah, we can make him like a slurm. Like he's a slug kind of creature. It would make
Because
sense why he's
since we're doing like the whole brain slug thing again.
yeah, and they say he's sweating leech like his snails, but it's not like him. Like as far as we know, we think he's sweating them, but he probably isn't. He's probably producing them.
Yeah, he. That's why I made the aphid comparison because he's just cloning himself with more of
He's
these
growing
snails.
these hard shells on them, and then they just plop out with like these snails, these brain snails. It's just disgusting. Yeah. So, anyways, this is a fun idea. We could do that. So, yeah, that's the main plot to this whole story. Like, basically, it kind of falls through with the original storyline, but it kind of has its own little flaw. But what do you think of it?
I think it's actually pretty amusing. I like it.
I'm glad. I'm
Yeah.
glad because I worked hard on it. I mean, they probably would do some leeway with it, but for the most part, it kind of fits in with the whole structure we have going on so far with it. But anyways, let's go on to Buddy's quest, which is going to be called "I'm Your Buddy." I don't know anything else to call it.
I'm your buddy, buddy.
Yeah, I'm not your buddy, right?
Or better yet,
Your friend,
or better yet. Hang on. A better name for this would be "I'm your buddy, guy."
Yeah, why not? I'm your buddy guy.
I'm your buddy, guy. Well, I'm your guy friend. Well, I'm your friend, buddy.
Buddy? Yeah. All right. So, yeah, Canadian joke, of course. Anyway,
South Park Canadian joke.
Yeah, of course. Anyways, so we get introduced to Curly when she kind of goes, his whole meh. But, he kind of talks about how he gets introduced to Counselor Buddy. And it turns out Camp Jellyjam isn't doing so hot. It's actually not doing profitable. No kids want to come to the summer camp. So it's like they're in a pit of a pickle. And we're going to find out somebody's going to come along to give them some helping hand of some kind.
Yeah, this is the part where Susie gives him the Holly Jolly dust.
I know you're saying that. Come on, man.
It's like, oh, my camp's not doing too well. Here, have some of this. Wow, I feel red.
Yeah, I think in his case, like his thing would go out of business, and he'd think it's still fine. Yeah. But anyways,
he's just on drugs.
So anyways, this is where we actually get to see sad Buddy that actually seems normal. So I would imagine that Buddy like this is talking like a normal guy. Like he has this hyper, like, that whole accent. I think that's like his mind control. I know it'd be funny if he still sounds like that, but I think it's even funnier if that like part of the mind control is that he sounds goofy. Anyway.
Yeah, that would be pretty funny. Just like he would just be more like a Eeyore type, like
like he's a general guy. He's a typical Mortman. Grumpy Mortman.
Typical sad adult.
Frumpy Mortman. Yeah. So, anyways, after the quest line, you get to him, and he actually is talking about, this is not the greatest type of thing, right? Like we're already in debt. This thing is going out of business. Like, this is the worst. Like, he's a bit in the pickle, like all that stuff. It's like, if only there was someone who can help me. Nanki's paw comes in. And then that's when Mr.Fleshman comes in. It's like, maybe I can assist, right? And then comes the next quest, which is when Buddy thinks, oh, this is the government. Are you from the IRS? Oh, God, please don't. Like, I can pay for my dues. It's just like, no, I'm not here for that.
I don't care who the IRS sends. I'm not paying my taxes.
Yeah, I knew you were going to throw the Dan verses out there. Yeah, that's a funny meme too. I love Dan versus. That's a great show that didn't go like man. Anyways, besides that, one of the interesting things about this was when Fleshman comes in, he's just kind of like, I actually work for some company. Like he's not like he always talks about he works for the government, but I can see him in this case. He's like, I'm a salesman, right? I actually work
Oh
for
yeah,
clients for mine, and he has this thing that might be of interest to you. Like it might be, let's say, might be helpful.
inspirational.
Yeah, it's inspirational. Let's put it that way. I'm sure once you get to him, he's gonna help lighten the mood, right? So then the quest starts, then it ends, and it kind of comes in. It's just like this cave is dark and anything. Like I don't really like what am I going down here? It's like I want you to meet my employer, and this is when the monster.
Why the hell does this place stinks?
Yeah, then this is when the monster comes in. He's like ah, and then he puts the snail on top of him, and this is when Happy Buddy comes in. It's just like you're gonna be helping him. You're gonna help him with all this stuff. It's like yes, sir.
Oh, you bet I will.
It's like
Why would I say no to an opportunity like that?
what? Like what is the master's name? It's just like.
And then, like,
No.
occasionally he just, like,
And this is when
twitches
he
his
kind of
eye.
goes like, well, this camp is called Jellyjam. Why not we just call him King Jellyjam? The king of Jellyjam, right? So that's probably where he got his name from, because he's probably named like Gambler or something with like weird alien nonsense. Right. I love that. Like, by the way, I love that name. I'm gonna throw before I continue on. I laughed at one point because I did a joke where it's just like one of my I always do these questionnaires, and one of the questions I kind of threw out there was Mrs. Smith, who is the assistant to. Give me 1 second here. My phone's about to die. Oh no, my recording
no.
die. That's not good. All right, so I'm gonna move out to the next room. So as I'm doing this, as we're moving the podcast, don't worry. Oh God, I hate when things like this happen. The technicalities, let's put it that way. Anyways, with that in mind, one of the interesting things about this was sorry, when we got to Mrs. Smith, I made a questionnaire basically saying, what are the hands behind her, right? And majority of people got the answer right, being that it is the Black Ring, or the monster from the Black Ring, which I don't think has a name per se, but I might be mistaken, for like I might be wrong, but I just say it's the Black Ring spirit, right? And one of the joke answers I put down was Gambler, the destroyer of wallets. Somebody decided to go ahead and select that option. Just because he probably knew the answer was wrong, but he's like, you know what? Nah. Gambler, the destroyer of wallets. I would love that monster name. That's like the best. No, honey. You're not the monster. The monster that has your mother. I call him Gambler. And it's time to get him. There's his meaning claw. There's his neon claws.
Oh, I love that.
Yeah, I love that too. That's the best. That's why the whole Gambler thing came up, because I was like, okay, that's funny. But no, I had to point it out because I thought that was funny that everybody knew the answer, but then one guy's like, nah, that's the funniest answer. Let me click that one. Anyways, continuing off where we left off. God, where did I put my? Of course I did. Give me 1 second. Making noises right here. All right. So, anyways, let's go back to the thing because we're halfway through the storyline. All right. So now we get to the two counselors, and then they're kind of like wondering, wonder what's going on with kind of like Buddy. Like, are we gonna have a job after this? Is this kind of like they're kind of curious too, right? Right. So then Buddy comes in, all happed up after snorting up some holly jolly dust. It's like, hi guys, what's going on?
I gotta get it all peppy.
Are you okay, buddy? It's just like, I've never been better. In fact, let me show. It's like, why are you so happy? He's like, cause I found the solution to our problem. Come follow me, right? So that's when
It's like, why are you so happy? I just snorted a whole bunch of dust.
You want to snort some? Yeah, I love our headcanons that the Buddies is like, drug addict to Susie's dust. That's so
I
stupid.
love that joke.
That's so
So
stupid, but you know what? Fine. He gave Slappy the stupid grin, so might as well spread that joy around. Anyways, so a quest happens, then the quest stops, and then that's when they go to the cave where Buddy basically got possessed, and this is when Buddy's just like, here's our new king, like here's our new emperor, King Jellyjam, right? And he gets scared by the monster. Of course, it's like and then they get attacked by the brain slug, right? But it's implied, right? Right.
yeah,
So that's the whole thing there. So then we get to the last quest, and this is when Fleshman, we get his kind of speak dialogue. So his plan necessarily is that he decided to get after the kids because the reason his plan failed twice was because the kids meddled in his surroundings, right? That's what he
yeah,
thinks, anyways, because they were the cause for both his plans failing. So his initial thought was, what if I can get rid of them somehow, right? And try to kill two birds with one stone. So he ends up meeting this creature, which would be the King Jellyjam, but we don't know what exactly it is, but it is an alien creature of some kind. And he basically made a deal with it, basically saying that, look, if you can provide me the task of being able to help me with this situation, I might be able to help you. Like, you scratch my back, I scratch yours, right? Or like I massage your
right.
tentacles and you should saliva blobs or something like that. But that's the main gist of it. Basically, it's like his idea was the kids would be trapped with watching this guy forever. And that because that they're distracted, it's like now I can do my evil plan of rising my mutants up again, right? My mutants, he could probably be making mutants of his squeezers. Look, we haven't seen the blue ones yet, so those ones kind of squeeze harder with the like squeeze balls.
Yeah, the squeeze ray or whatever they called it. The
Yeah,
little
the
ray guns that turned you into a black ball.
yeah, yeah. God. Apparently, he had a son too in that one.
Well, I know that there was the only thing that stood out to me is like there was a female creature that trying to hide the information of the squeeze bomb,
Yeah,
and
that's
you
weird.
had to like interrogate her for it.
That's weird. Yeah, that's a weird ass story. I don't know what Stein was thinking. No, you know what? It probably wasn't Stein. It was probably like Stein gave it to some rando, and he decided to go, yeah, you know what, fine, yeah, good enough.
Yeah, there's I forgot her name, but you interrogate her in like a jail cell you share with her, and like I guess she mentioned something about a squeeze bomb, and and she says that there are like possible locations of where it could be, but she wouldn't tell. You have to make that guess, I guess.
Yeah, because the
And
Speedballs was a time bomb, right? And it's like blows up, and everyone just squished into a ball or something
well,
like
no,
that.
yeah, yeah, it was something like that. I think it was like one of the places it was possibly hidden was like a parade float.
Yeah, I remember this now. Yeah, so this is just off
Yeah,
topic all of a sudden, but yeah, anyway. Yeah, Fleshman and his weird squeezer plan. That's probably, you know what? It would be funny if he made a nod to that. Be like, so I can make my squeeze small.
I'm gonna make you into a squeeze ball.
I'm gonna blow up like this planet and turn everyone into a squeeze ball.
Well, the thing is, it doesn't actually like blow up the planet. This squeeze bomb.
No,
What
I
it
know
does,
that. It just
it sends off like some sort of weird electromagnetic field, and then it just like shrinks everyone into these black balls.
it basically kills them in the process.
Well, I mean, it doesn't actually imply that they're dead.
I mean, R.L. Stein's world, they're alive. They're just balls now. But realistically, they're dead.
I mean, yeah, if you applied realistic, like, logic and shit, then yeah, obviously they're gonna be dead.
Yeah, I mean, that's
But
what we're kind of implying with this series, anyways, with Fleshman squeezing some guy out, and that's why he's using his corpse as a costume.
his fucking skin suit.
What does he do with the excess, though? Like all the guts and all that
If I
stuff.
remember correctly, I think it was in the first books. They were kept in a box or something.
They just kept it in a
Like,
box. Like they couldn't even put it in a jar or like something that's not biodegradable. Wow. Okay. These smart
yeah, they
creatures,
just like
man.
put it in a. Like I remember, like they when the main character, when he comes across like his friend who was like body squeezed, he knew that something was wrong, so he like tries to hide in his friend's closet or something. Like he comes across a box with his friend's internal organs that talks to him and shit.
My God.
It was Series 2000. It was a lot more darker and shit.
I just love the fact that that he's still alive after this. It's just like, almost like why even squeeze it? It's almost like they could just be like naked people, like, actually, like, not naked in the sense of like they just basically rip off their skin, so they're just, meat and bones and all that stuff. But no,
I would have to like figure out like exactly if my sources are correct, because there's a huge chance that I'm fucking wrong.
I don't know. It sounds like an R.L. Stein thing. It's just like, yeah, we don't want to traumatize the kid, so like he's still alive.
Well, you also have to remember that the Series 2000 books were a lot more darker than the originals. They advertised that it was more scarier.
It's like in the back. It's like A Hat in Time with that chef guy, where we end up meeting him again. He's in a jar, and the only thing he's left is eyeballs and mustache. But he's able to talk and everything. Is just like, okay. I remember seeing that and I was freaked out. I was like, oh my God. I was joking with the fact that she actually literally killed him. Like, damn. I knew she was pissed, but I didn't know she was that pissed. But yeah, anyways, so the last thing is basically Curly closing doing his closing remarks, and it's basically implying that this is like the beginning to. So this is like a prologue to the events that we would end up seeing before. So,
right,
setting everything up for the whole scam, as it were. So that's why they got sent these flyers out of nowhere, because it was a trap, necessarily masquerade as some sort of camp, right? But that's basically it for the whole thing. I don't think there's anything else to talk about.
That's weird. I can't seem to find it anywhere on the Goosebumps wiki. I'm still scrolling through it, and I'll probably put it in the comment in the video when it's released. But
yeah, I know. It's interesting. I love that we kind of tied the squeezers into this again. Like
yeah.
we still had everything going on for ourselves. So I guess with that in mind, we should probably end this real quick, because I think you have to go out soon.
Well, I mean, I still technically have an hour, but yeah.
Yeah. All right. So I think that's about, unless you have anything you wanted to talk about with this particular update I've made, because I think that's it from my end anyways.
Well, I enjoyed it, obviously.
I know we didn't add Tara in there, unfortunately, but I think it's more of a focus on him, and I think she has her own thing that she's gonna end up doing. So it's like these two aliens are gonna fight each other in one way or another, kind of like how
Wait, you
Slappy
said
and
Tara?
Taz, or whatever her name was.
It's Tack.
Tack. God, she's a Russian lady name. Okay, she's a weird character, man. She goes in depth. It's just like I'm making my own character. Like she's like a D&D player. Like she's like, this is my character. This is her background. This is how she grew up. She had a tragic backstory. She's a little.
Like I said, I went with the name Tack because
it's short.
It's a lot easier.
Yeah, I love how though with Granny over there. I'm wondering her real name though, but like her real alien name. But it's interesting how she kind of comes up with this character, right? And I'm just like, how much time do you have? Like, you just go ahead with these research, and you're just like, this is my backstory. This is my character. She has a tragic, like, she grew up in Ukraine. She had this whole thing about like she wished to become this, but she never did. She married some guy and he ended up divorcing her with 3 kids. Like I could just totally see her just gushing over her backstory. It's just like, she just doesn't want to shut up about it. Because she wants to sell the idea like, yes, I am a little Russian old lady, but I really want to see her into different costumes, and they kind of hinted at that with the circus update, the Trap and Circus of Fear, when she did that costume design, or like, future costume design, looking at the jester clown thing, and I'm just like, okay, that would be weird. But all right, you do you.
That actually kind of makes me want to draw Tack like that.
she's a nerd. Like she's a D&D player. Like she just literally just wants to like bake certain characters. You know what? That is a missed opportunity to have her be different characters. Like we knew, like they know the grandma is like alien, right? But she's basically able to masquerade herself as other characters. So it would be interesting to kind of have her try to play around, right? Like, could
Yeah,
you imagine her being the one to kind of like tell Lucy about something like one of the kids talking to her was probably her in disguise, and you wouldn't know it at first unless you looked at subtle clues to kind of give you or like gave it away somewhat. Like it's like her kind of sabotaging Fleshman's plans just despite
yeah,
him. I can
yeah.
totally
Because those two have always butted heads.
Yeah, especially since especially like I love it too because Fleshman had no idea that she existed. It's like, oh, are you okay, old lady? Why are you acting like a maniac? And he's like, she reveals herself. Is like, what the fuck? Where did you come from? Apparently, she knows him, but he had no idea about her.
I can. Well, okay, so that kind of reminds me of that scene in Invader Zim where like Tack shows up at Zim's door, and
Yeah,
like Zim is just like,
it's about revenge.
oh, I
Oh,
break up with you, and then like Tack laughs and reveals herself to be Irkin, and Zim was like, oh, you're Irkin. What is this?
yeah,
And then like as Tack
who
is
are
trying to
you?
like explain herself, he just interrupts like, who are you? Who are you? I can
Yeah,
imagine that with
aren't you gonna
Fleshman.
tell me your plans?
Aren't you gonna
He's
tell
like,
me your plan?
no, my robot base. First, I go,
My
no,
robot bee!
no, no,
You're after my
no.
robot bee!
All right, I'm going. No, it's not, I'm not going. What? No. It's like it's revenge.
You're after my.
Whoa, it's not about revenge. Like your whole species is on this hierarchy because they're taller than everyone else, and they just I'm gonna fill it the earth with candy. Okay, sure. This
Like I also remember the same episode where like he Zim tries to explain Tack's plan. It's like I came up with that plan, and Gurr's like, no,
no, you
or no,
didn't.
wait. He's like, she stole this plan from me, and then Gurr, no, she didn't.
That reminds me of one of his stupidest plans is that he finds out that Mars is actually like an actual like spaceship. So he decides I'm gonna crush the Earth, and he does this so slowly, like some guy screaming with his can, like "No, no!"
Oh,
It's so stupid, but I love it.
I like the one where it was in like Enter the Florpus,
Yeah,
where like the tallists are just like, I'm so glad we don't have to deal with Zim. Yeah, I wonder what happened to him. It's like, who cares? And they start laughing, and then they get a message from Zim. It's like, it is Isaac.
yeah.
Then one of the tallists is like, no.
I don't like it. Well, we didn't make it so you could like it. Well, I should like it. It's like, why did you have lasers? I didn't want lasers. Well, lasers are cool. Yeah, but still. See, I told you.
It's like it's always lasers with you. Why not go with smoke machines? Smoke machines are nice. Yeah, but lasers are cooler. And
Yeah,
then it's just like
but
flashes right into his eyes, like. And
see,
then like at
told
a
you.
later bit, it's just like. And then like at a later bit, it's just like, oh yeah, by the way, lasers. And then the little laser fires
Yeah.
into his eye.
I love it too. Like that show is great. I love everything about it. Like all the like we could discuss them on the episodes. One of the funniest things I think I made a joke about was in Haunted Halloween. There was a bit when you got to talk to Sunny and Sam when they were talking to each other, where they were like, the masked mutant would totally go after Gallifrey Gonzalez. It's like, well, you would do this instead. It's like you can't do that. you know. It kind of reminds me of that episode with the kids. It's just like I attack you with my white swarmers. I defend it with a name call. I'm not fighting with you anymore. Yeah, I
Uh,
still love that. Yeah, there's just so much fun stuff with Invader. Like we could just gush a lot of stuff with Invader Zim.
yeah. I
I
guess we
was
can
a
call
champion
that
lady,
snake.
hiding in the bushes.
Oh, and Miss Bitters. I love Miss Bitters.
I
Like
love her too.
during one of her classes, she's just like, and over there where that squirrel is, there was nothing.
Nothing. Yeah, I'm
And
like,
then
when I
like
was
later on
a
in that
when
scene, it's
I
just
was
like,
a
you know
girl,
what?
I used to like to be a fairy too. Nothing. But then something
Uh,
went horribly wrong.
yeah. And then like later during that same episode where there was nothing, she was like talking to like some of the adults, or I guess like parents, like, you know, I always assumed that you would grow up to be nothing, and I was right. You're nothing.
Sweet. That reminds me too. It's just like the episode with the election thing, and they ended up having with Willie, like yeah, Dip, roll yourself in the toilet before you get better. But then also like the toilet, exactly. But Willie was the last one to use it. There's the music and everything. It's just like God. But I remember he was just like, it's like a dumb character name. He's like, yeah, all that stuff. But then soon he gets elected, he gets zapped, and he's like, all of a sudden, he's like, pip pip cheerio. And our show is the best ever. Because the first one got eliminated because he's like, I have no problem with the toilets. And they decide to take her away. It's like, yeah, the
uh,
toilet's the best. Do not question it. I
I
still
think
love
one of my favorite.
the
I think.
clip.
Oh, go ahead.
I was about to say with the Christmas episode and the Halloween episode were great. Like especially the
Oh yeah,
bow down before the power of Santa.
the fucking robot snowman, and then
Yeah.
like the little kid was just like, and how does the mechanized Santa suit work? The whole thing just eludes me. And
And
then
they
like the
just push
robot
him on the ground.
snowman
As
just
I
like
was
shoves him under the
saying.
bed.
I love it, yeah. No, Santa betrayed me. Yeah. Captain. I love that too. It's just like this is the most exciting time I had, like the most exciting anyone could be. I am liar.
Yeah, not scientifically possible.
Not scientifically Yeah, I love that. Very
No
funny.
one's
All
more
right,
excited
another
about.
movie for
No
you.
one's more excited about Friendship Day than I am. I am
Love.
not scientifically possible.
I love Dr. Membrane. He's a great. Like a lot of these shows are great. Like Invader Zim especially, just because of everything like that.
Not now, son. I'm making toast.
Yeah.
He's like all dramatic about it.
I love it too because there was actually cut episodes, like they were ones that were narrated, like they had schematics and everything like that, but they never got made because of the bad relationship that the creator had with Nickelodeon at the time.
I mean, let's be fair. Like, Jonan Vasquez's stuff is a lot more different from everything else that you see on
I mean, this
Nickelodeon.
guy made Johnny the Homicidal Maniac. They should have known what they were
Yeah,
getting themselves into.
it's
But
like, hey, we want to pitch an idea. Hey, we saw your thing about like this crazy serial killer, and we want to pitch a show idea. It's
yeah,
like,
maybe
oh,
this is a
okay.
little too dark. And no, the show that I think the episode that basically made them go, yeah, maybe this is a little too dark was Body Harvest. I think that was the one.
Dark Harvest.
Dark Harvest, that's what it was. The
It
episode
was
where
deemed as like the most scariest episode,
it
but
wasn't
like I
really.
wasn't scared.
I love that they got God, what's his name? I got like I wouldn't say Max, but not really. It's like I know him from The Weekenders as TJ, or I think that's his name.
Oh, I know who you're talking about. The
Yeah,
same
that
voice actor.
actor. He was in there as the hall monitor. I'm
Yeah,
just
I
like, that's
remember
who
him.
it
Wasn't
is.
he like the fucking hall monitor kid?
Yeah, he was. And then he also was the one kid.
Yeah.
He was also the one kid that got hit. It's like, oh, my organs. It's like, ha, ha, ha. Oh, my speedily splooch. You hear that,
Did you hear
guys?
that, gas?
No one has a speedily splooch.
I got a squealy spooch.
Yeah. I love the Mysterious Mysteries episode too. It's just like, they're recounting the events of the episode there. And at that point it was like they were trying to make one looks better than the other person. But I feel like the closest anyone got was Gaz. They're all stupid. There. Look, guys, I am catching the alien. I am you witching it. And then we get the girls, and it's just like, pretending like, I'm a chubby man, I'm in the bushes, and just like, and what else happened? And then the squirrel came out. Don't you mean Zim came out? No, the squirrel came out first. Then Dips, oh no, sorry, Dip. Then Dip showed up. Ah, my God, what is that thing? And then the girl ate a giant head. And then the actor of the alien takes his mask off. He's like, what the fuck? And then he just flew away.
Oh.
And then he went back to his homeland to meet all the bad guys. What does that have to do with anything? Me and the squirrel are friends. He's like, we're so canceled. Maybe I'm crazy.
It kind of reminds me of that one episode, Chicken Foot, where Dim is trying to disprove the existence of Chicken Foot, and then he comes across this guy who was just stuck in a fucking chicken suit and he couldn't get out. And he thought he was cursed to fucking wear chicken or some shit.
Wow, maybe Bigfoot's not real too, or UFOs, or hobos. No, those other things are real too, except for hobos. No, wait, no, hobos are real. Speaking of hobos, that reminded me of the episode of the what do you call it? The pig spell. I'm trying to remember what it was called exactly.
The pig what?
The pig spell. The episode where he was looking through a bunch of these weird boxes that can give you basically special powers, but most of them were basically used out except for one that had a low currency. So he's like, I can't buy anything useful here. Everything's like,
oh, okay. So those are not boxes. Those are actually fucking mechanical spell books.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. That was what it was supposed to be, right? But yeah, during that episode, he meets the hobo guy. They turned me into a hobo. Bird of advice, but I don't want to be a hobo. Oh. And at the end, he's just he walks away, and the guy's eating a candy, and he grabs them and runs off. It's
then, of course, there's also the classic Zim eats waffles.
Oh, yeah, I love that. It's just yeah, and you get a little bit more into the Swollen Eyeballs organization. Which it would be interesting to have a secret organization for Goosebumps. The only thing I could think about is probably could it be the RPD, because they are probably the closest as far as a secret organization can go.
RPD?
The Reality Police Department.
Oh yeah, that is true. I forgot about that, but that's from
yeah, because
isn't that just from Don't Go to Sleep?
Don't Go to Sleep, yeah. That would be an interesting story. I have an idea for that one when we ever get to that eventually, but yeah, that's one of the things there. But anyways, I think we're having too much fun with this one.
Yeah, we rambled on about Invader Zim for a little too long.
Well, that's fun because we always try to do something interesting. Especially, it's interesting because we talked about it during, we usually talk about it before we talk about this stuff, but we did it after. But anyways. We should
call this segment Invader Zim plus outro.
Yeah, and the Campy Alien Nightmare or whatever. I don't know what to call it. I'll call this
better yet, Outro of Doom.
The campiness of Doom. Anyways, so I think we should end it. But I think before we go, we should probably drop a teaser to your next or the next episode, which is what you're going to be doing this time around.
Yeah.
So, so this was going to be a hard one because we were trying to figure out what would be best. You did suggest something, so I'm going to post that out here. So, if you know what this is, then you're an OG, so here it is.
Well, gee, I just want to go home. See, according to my card here.
Ah, yes.
Hey, thanks!
And now we must go. Come, Squeak.
That's it.
Whatever.
Yeah, so I'm wondering if anyone knows what that clip was from. I mean, we know what it is, but I'm wondering if you know. It's a very old cartoon. It's not as popular as anything else before, but really, this is the only kind of on the nose we probably can get to you as far as what's going on. I mean, you think your next one's going to be another on the nose type thing, but we'll get to there when we get to there.
If you know what it is, then you're a true 90s kid.
Yeah, remember the 90s? You remember Bobby's World? a good show. You're too young
Bobby's
to
World.
remember. I remember that Joe, what was his name? Joe, I think, or he was called Uncle Joe, Uni Joe, or Uncle Joe, on.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah,
Yeah,
it's
but
been
yeah, he's
like
like,
so long since I've
it
seen
was
that
a
show.
good show. You were too young to remember. They
Um,
don't know. They missed out.
oh, Life with Louie.
Yeah, Life. Oh yeah, Life with Louie. Yeah, there's a whole lot of shows, but we're kind of reminiscing.
So,
Uh,
for those who
Ned
don't know
New.
what Life with Louie is,
Yeah, Ned
it's kind
New.
of like
That's another one.
yeah, it's a show based on Louis Armstrong. I think that was his last name, Louis Armstrong, and
Yeah,
he's like a comedian or something. And he's like this little kid who like complains about stuff. He's kind of like if
and he
Eric
talks like
Cartman wasn't like
this.
a
Yeah,
yeah, he's kind of like if Eric Cartman wasn't a racist piece of shit.
yeah. His father was fun too, by the way. I love that.
Oh yeah, I love his father. It's
Yeah,
like when's the last time you helped around the house, Louis? He's so nicely. It's great.
I know. It's like that they did the perfect thing with that one. That was an old show. Like I only remember
Yeah.
I only remember Life with Louie because of the commercials for like it was airing the same time with Goosebumps, so it's like, ah, yeah, I remember now. I before I was like, what the hell is this? It's
I
one of those
remember
weird.
like there was a like I remember I think it was like someone in the Goosebumps crew. That's another podcast thing. They had like also Steam cams. They had like a collection of like different bumpers for like different Goosebumps events, and one of them was called Slappy's Sideshow Saturday,
I
and it
love
was
that.
advertising one for Life with Louie.
Yeah, I love those old skits that they used to do. Like they put
Yeah,
a lot of effort into that
I
stuff,
miss
man.
that. Like I also remember. I think uh, I don't know if this was like a fever dream or whatever, but I remember there was one part. I think it had. I think it was like an end of like a Spider-Man segment, and he was like introducing Slappy's Sideshow Saturday, which was like the next event,
Yeah.
and
And
he had like a brief conversation with Slappy.
and that's weird too because I'm trying to remember because Slappy was not voiced by the guy like he wasn't voiced by Wolverine in the like in the TV show he was, but in these things by Fox, he
Bumpers.
wasn't. He was voiced by someone else. He
Yeah,
wasn't
I
voiced. He
noticed that
wasn't
too.
bad. He actually voiced pretty good for he almost sounded kind of like Crocker in a sense, doesn't he?
I mean, kind
Kind of,
of.
right?
It's kind
Like
of like a more raspy version of Slappy.
yeah, yeah, that's what I thought too. I remember too because we were talking about episode 2, which was I guess it was one punk's trash is a lizard's treasure that I
Yeah,
called it.
comic
I
shop
think.
of horrors,
Yeah, the
basically.
comic shop horror. Yeah, we talked about that. It was just like, oh, we should do a bit when it was like we did the scene from what do you call it? The from the actual episode with him going, ah, I'm too old for this stuff, and I'm just like, well, we came across something that was just like, it's like you won't defeat me, Masculine. I got someone else, Potato Boy,
Potato Boy.
and it blanks in the little like,
Yeah.
it's like I think, and that's what you reference in your picture from the
Yeah.
episode 3,
Potato Boy.
the Potato Boy, yeah, yeah, before we did the kissing thing. Yeah. Anyways, that's
Because
fun.
I love the Sideshow Saturday stuff.
Yeah, it's great.
Because it had like a really banger theme to it too. If I could
Yeah.
get my hand on that.
Oh, definitely. They put a lot of effort. See, this is when Goosebumps was the thing, and it's like I there was a comic before we go. I know we were supposed to end this like way long ago, but give us one more minute. Give us one more minute, please. Give
Lend us
us
your
one more
ears.
minute. Lend us your ears for a minute. The one thing I was gonna say is that there was a comic I came across where it was talking about this whole like I don't want to be too political thing, but there was this whole thing about everyone hating Harry Potter, especially with Hogwarts Legacy because of what the creator was doing.
Oh yeah.
But anyways, there
You
was a
know they
comic
actually try
about
to actually witch hunt J.K. Rowling
yeah,
now.
yeah, yeah, yeah. But yeah, anyways, besides the point, the joke of the comic was basically in the sense of like you know, she should pay for a crime for Hogwarts Legacy. He's like, yeah, let me get, like, I hate her too. It's just like, oh, here's the microphone. You can say something. She should deserve her crime for making Goosebumps the least popular series. Like, okay, give me that thing back. Because really, Goosebumps was like the main thing, and then Harry Potter came along, and it's like, oh well, now you go. Like Andy with Woody is like, I don't want to play with you anymore, and drops him off. This is my new favorite toy. Yeah. Anyways, that's it, folks. Hope you enjoyed this. Hopefully, it wasn't too long this time around, but yeah, I mean, we always had fun with this type of stuff. But anyways, I've been Grim.
It's IT.
And that's the end. That's a wrap.
See ya.
Bye-bye.